So I'm going to talk about the business cohort. So again, that is what I did in Dallas, Texas at the Chambers of Commerce. This training that this person recruited me for, she came to the workforce. Yes, the workforce. And I'm not too fond of the workforce in any state. So she came to the workforce and recruited me, and I told you she was attached to this big name. And I knew this big name, but it was like, I actually stopped going to a actual university working on a bachelor's to do this cohort business training / EKG, phlebotomy, CNA, and patient care tech. So I was going to the Methodist Hospital, doing clinical work. I was going to Mountain View College, which was a community college. So I don't even know why you come telling me to do this training to make me get out of a university working on a bachelor's to downgrade to a community college. But anywho, so this training was about 6 months. 6 months. So you're back and forth from the hospital, Methodist Hospital. Then you're back and forth to, like I said, Mountain View College and Chamber of Commerce. So you was back and forth to these 3 different locations. Okay. So when I did leave Texas, I went to Louisiana for a brief 7 months. It wasn't brief, but hey. Because like I told you, I had nowhere to go after the relative that was close to me had took the rest care account and other accounts and other money. So, and she left me and my I think she had just made 10 at the time. So, I have done so much for this person continuously, and, it's hard to believe that people would do you like that over accounts and things that you didn't even ask to be a part of. You didn't even want to do it, but you just went ahead and did it, And so I ended up, like I said, going to Louisiana for about 7 months. But when I moved to Mississippi, it was April 2022. So when I came here, the quickest job you could get was substitute teaching. So I did that, and I did that through Kelly. And it was only for a month because April, May, the kids got out of school. The kids get out of school in May. So a relative told another relative on this side that being a substitute teacher wasn't a real job, and I needed to find another job. So I went to the workforce. I was trying to just let them leave me alone and bugging me about everybody think they knows everything, and everybody think they knows what works for you or what's best for you, but they really don't. So in this situation, I went to the workforce. I knew that they would, you put in some stuff, some applications and all of that, and you'll be able to get a job. So they told me about this daycare that needed help. They needed help bad. And I didn't want to do daycares anymore. I was done with daycare after I left Texas. But I went on to this daycare. Come to find out that they told the other relative, that substitute teaching wasn't a real job, and I needed to get another job. They had a friend that was a mutual friend to the person of this daycare. Conflict of interest. I didn't know this till later. So basically, they all had already knew about this cohort, this business cohort, and everybody wanted it. But they didn't want you to have it by yourself, if you get what I'm saying. They wanted it for themselves. They didn't want to do business with you. And half of them don't even know how to do the business that they have, but they want that cohort. Okay. So I was like, okay. When I went to this daycare, I signed documents and all of that. There was no cohort documentation until later. Once they found the information out, this person talked to this person, that person talked to this person. Yeah. And like I said, it was a conflict of interest. So we get these cohort papers, and the cohort papers say, that we needed to sign them. So everybody that worked for her at the time, that she pulled up these documents that said Cohort on it now. They signed the papers, and then I was like, she done forgot wind about this Cohort. And once we signed these documentation, she had told me that I can leave.